Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs Podcast. We're on season 5, episode number 13. Tonight's a songs edition. How are you doing, Andy?
Wonderful.
Well,
Wonderful.
it's February 1st. Now we're into the new month, and we've got
Yes.
a series of shows here that are going to talk on our songs edition. Usually we do album reviews, concerts, musician reviews, overviews of concerts and things like that. This will be 6 straight shows of an album review.
Yes.
Now, the artist is Johnny Cash, the Man in
Cash.
Black. The Man in
Yes.
Black. All right, so what I'll do here is bring up the album we're going to cover,
Yes.
and you
Well,
can
this is-
introduce.
Yeah.
can introduce
Kind of
us.
like sometimes pastor go into a sermon series for 6 weeks. We're kind of doing this 6 album series for 6.
Yes, a series.
Johnny Cash. This is called the American Recordings. He did 6 albums at the end. The first one was American Recordings. Was his 81st album by Johnny Cash. It was released April 26th of 94 on American Records. That had just changed its name from Def America, which was Def Jam Records at one time.
Okay.
The album was marked as the beginning of a career resurgence for Cash, who was widely recognized as an icon of American music, but whose record sales had suffered during the late 70s and 80s. Cash was approached by producer Rick Rubin, who offered a contract with Rubin's American Recordings label. Better known for rap and heavy metal than country music, Rubin had seen Cash perform at Bob Dylan's 30th anniversary concert in late 92. Felt Cash still had a little bit left in the tank there. So what it was, the recordings came down. Johnny, of course, his 81st album. Johnny was no spring chicken in 94. So that's when it was released in 94. So they recorded in 93. Under Rubin's supervision, Cash recorded most of the album in his own Tennessee cabin or Rubin's home in Los Angeles, accompanied only by his guitar. This was a return to Cash's earliest recording style. His first producer, Sam Phillips, had determined in the 1950s that Cash's voice was best suited for a stripped-down style and the 3 or 4 piece ensemble, which was Johnny Cash and the Tennessee Three. I mean, that's where it came from. And some people said Johnny Cash doesn't really sing. He just kind of talks rhythmically, which is fine with me. Whatever he does, I love it. The one thing I want to bring about here, he had 2 songs, Devil's Gone and Drive On, were released. But I just want to go to the track listings here. And then through this whole series, it even starts in this album. He does a lot of covers of other artists, plus his own original stuff. Devil's Gone, which is a song written by Johnny Cash. Let the Train Blow the Whistle by Johnny Cash. The Beast in Me by Nick Lowe. Drive On by Johnny Cash. Why Me Lord by Chris Christopherson. 13 by Glenn Danzig. And that's the remake of the song 13 from the Hangover movie that Danzig did.
Oh.
Danzig did that song, so Cash covered it. Why Bury Me Not, the introduction to A Cowboy's Prayer, written by Johnny Lomax, Alan Lomax, Roy Rogers, and Tim Spencer. Bird on a Wire by Leonard Cohen. Tennessee Stud by Jimmy Driftwood.
Nice.
Down There by the Train by Tom Waits. Redemption and Like a Soldier, both Johnny Cash songs. And The Man Who Couldn't Cry by Loudon Wainwright III. Now there's the 13 songs. One's 5 minutes long, and like in typical Johnny Cash country songs, 2.5 minutes for most of these.
Okay.
The recording dates for all these songs: December 5th, December 5th, December 5th, 6th, 7th, 7th. Bury Me Not was done between May 17th and 20th. Then the rest of the songs were December 6th, 3rd, 7th, 6th, 6th, 3rd. So in a week, he recorded this album, except for one song.
Wow.
And you could tell if he recorded 3 songs in one day, it was sit and go. It wasn't this. Can you do this again? Can you? It was Johnny and his guitar and his microphone. The personnel on the album was Johnny Cash on acoustic guitar, vocals, main performer, liner notes. Rick Rubin, producer. Jim Scott, mixing. David Ferguson, engineer. Stephen Markinson was mastering. So it was Johnny Cash and a guitar. The thing I like about Johnny Cash music, and I'm going to say this every week of the 6 weeks on here too, you believe what he's singing to you like it happened to him personally or a close friend. And that's why I think I really enjoyed his gospel music, because he was like asking for redemption that through stuff he'd done, because we know Johnny did it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so when he says, "Oh, forgive me," it's like, yeah, Johnny is truly asking for forgiveness because he needs lots of it. You know, this album at the end of 1994, American Recordings, was voted the 17th best album of the year on the Paz and Jap, an annual poll of American critics nationwide. In other year-end lists, it ranked 36th by Select, 23rd by NME, 17th, 16th, 5th by the Los Angeles Times, 4th by Mojo, 2nd by OOR. I'm not familiar with them, but they had it second. At the 1995 Grammys, it won Cash a Grammy Award for Best Compilation Folk Album. Rolling Stone magazine later placed the record at number 366 on the magazine's top 500 greatest albums of all time. And Country Music Television ranked at number 27 on the network's list of top 40 greatest country albums in its 2006 list. The charts in 1994 peaked at 23 on the top country albums, 110 on the Billboard 200, number 9 on the RPM, which is like the Canadian country albums, and 72 for the RPM of top albums in Canada. This album by John Cash, actually, fun fact, born J.R. Cash, is his real name.
Okay.
Might come up after the 6th. We do like a test after all this. You want to know that.
Big trivia, yes.
Big Johnny Cash trivia, week 7. 2 songs in the album that have been recorded by Cash previously. Della's Gone from his 1962 album, The Sound of Johnny Cash, and Oh Bury Me Not for his 1965. Johnny Cash sings the Ballads of the True West. So 2 were his own covers, re-releases, but the rest were all other done. Chris Christopherson, not a shock he did a Chris Christopherson song. They were the Highwaymen. That's a thing. Glenn Danzig, the guy who did Mother. Go back and listen to that so you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes.
Listen to Glenn Danzig's version of 13. Remember that, because, little spoiler alert, he does a lot of songs from that genre on the albums coming up. Because first of all, if you say, no, Johnny Cash, you can't record my song, you're one of the bigger idiots there are in the world.
Well, Danzig, that's going to be my homework assignment, Andy. I'm going to listen to that 13, both versions.
Yep. That's the homework. And don't really say which one's better or worse, because that's not what it's here for. But just to hear the similarities, how Johnny didn't really change the song to make it Johnny's.
Yeah.
He sang it just in Johnny's style. It's 42 minutes and 45 seconds. So
that's what I like. That's what I like about the tributes and the covers, is that you have some you get some play there to deal with how you want to do it, but you don't want to overstep your bounds or not do enough, but make it your own at the same time without going too far.
Yeah, and like I said, with Johnny Cash, just when I listened to this, like I said, I listened to it right for the show today. 42 minutes and 45 seconds. It's the fastest 42 minutes you ever heard, because it's like, oh, it's over, because you're enjoying it so much you want just to keep going.
Well, perfect for a car ride, running errands or whatever, and you could whip through it just like that.
You got to roast in the oven, it's got to cook for 45 minutes, and listen to this.
The whole album.
Because if you like Johnny Cash a little bit, you're going to like these albums, because they're just kind of like Johnny at the end of his career too. Really started with the Folsom album on.
Okay.
It's kind of like Johnny. Sorry, Johnny didn't give a shit what you thought of him. He's going to sing it.
Well, he's reached his maturity level,
Yeah.
and he wasn't trying to impress and trying to gain audience. He was just doing what he wanted to do, and that's why it was so good. It's authentic.
And that's what I like about Johnny Cash, and I've said this on the show before. That's why I like a lot of the blues stuff and jazz stuff, because it's just they could do a 3.5-minute song about a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and it's cool. Just the way he does it, and it's very, as you see the album cover there, just it's Johnny. And
It's a great album cover. Love it.
The others, as you see them come up, they're just the series that Rick Rubin did with this, just incredible. This album is considered folk and country.
Okay.
I consider it Johnny Cash music. His music doesn't have a label. It's Johnny Cash.
Interesting. All right, so we'll have 5 more of these episodes like this going down the remaining the final 6.
Into
Good
March,
stuff. I can't believe that 81 album number.
Yes.
Just so mind-boggling.
And the thing is on this, as these 6 came out, other albums were released in between, like greatest hits or compilation. So
okay.
This was the first. The next one wasn't per se his 82nd album. There was others that were released. Hey, here's the greatest hits. Here's Johnny Cash in the 60s. Other compilations were put out there.
But yeah, and that producer has been around for a long time too. Rick Rubin.
Yeah, I looked up Rick Rubin's stuff. Then all of a sudden, rap and heavy metal is what he was associated with in the 70s and 80s, 90s. Basically, when Johnny's career went down was because of the other music Rick Rubin was doing. But Johnny Cash's music didn't really go down though, because he was still kind of there. It's just he wasn't front page. So
yeah, and the old Def Jam label.
Yes. American now, yes. Who'd have thought he'd been on that label one time?
I wouldn't have guessed that either. Wow.
But as the others come on, you think you said wow now on some of these. You just wait, young man.
I can't. This will be a learning experience for me. Like I said, for the other listeners out there that may not know that, I'm a very entry-level Johnny Cash fan. I like the man. I like his music, like his stuff. I'm not that well-versed in his background. I'm not that well-versed in his history.
One more thing on these Johnny Cash albums. I know there's a couple Johnny Cash tribute bands in the area. I have never seen any of those bands, but I guarantee none of these songs will be played by them.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I'm pretty sure the tribute bands that will stick to the pre-80s stuff, stuff we're all more familiar with.
Makes sense.
So, that's what I got, sir. That's my little intro here. You got some other stuff on concerts and
I'm going to talk about some concerts and upcoming shows in the local area. I did want to point out that if you get a chance to see Mad Alice, I saw them at the Shakopee Bowl last week. This photo here I took from them on the stage. Very good show. Just like we've always talked about. Neither of us had gone to see them. I would highly recommend it. The opening band is called The Grime. They play 90s. But I was thinking, or I guess I was going to assume that it was like more grunge types of things, but it wasn't. It was the popular 90s songs that were out there. And you're a typical person to go, you're going to know all the songs. You're going to know every single one. It's a great, they actually play them very well. I was struck by the fact that I've never heard of the band called The Grime and how good they were. I just typically go in assuming an opening band is going to be just a little bit less, a little like the light version, the unleaded version, right?
Yep.
And these guys could hold their own. Now, let's go to the next one here. In the air tonight, Phil Collins coming to the Medina, March 23rd, and Genesis. That should be a good show. I'm already here now that we're in February. It's already technically next month. Soul Driver. Now, Andy, you've heard of these guys, right?
I've heard the name.
Okay. I've got the new album out here. It's Michael Sweet, and I'm not sure the other name on that, but this is another combination of a group, and it sounds like it's pretty good. I've not listened to this band or this album, but this is a new new release as well.
Yeah, I think one of the interns put up on the Facebook page, and I thought, "Ooh, Michael Sweet, I got to listen to this."
Yes,
I'm a
exactly.
big Michael Sweet guy, so
Now, Thunder Mother, also very good stuff. Now, this is an all-female rock group based in Europe. I think they're in Sweden, perhaps. I'm not sure where they're based out of, but I watched their new single was released with a music video 2 days ago. So I went through, watched that. This is a fun, energetic group that is a rock band, a heavy metal band.
is it safe to watch at work?
You'll probably be safe watching it at work. But these guys, this is a rock and roll, kind of like an 80s version of rock and roll,
Okay,
all female. It's like Vixen.
okay,
Now, these guys are and they're gals, the drummer, the bassist, the lead guitarist, very good musically. I think they've been around for 10 or 15 years, but I've never heard of them. But their new single is out on a music video, fun to watch. Good group. They're based in Europe.
So are you assigning now homework, Dan, that we have to check these guys out?
I would if I was to sign something this week, it would just that one song alone,
All
and
right.
that'll lead you down the other things that this group
All
is
right.
known for. It's very good. I thought they were an American band, and I went back and saw because they sang all English, but it's like Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin. They could come from the UK, and they all sing normally. Then you hear them talk on interviews. It's a different country altogether. Good group though. I like their stuff.
All right.
Also coming up, Medina Firehouse along with Sweet. We've talked about that. This one's coming up here in February as well.
There she
Lita
is.
Ford. That's February 24th. I don't think I'm going to go to this show. Andy, here's how they've got it set up. I looked to get tickets. There's general admission, right? Like general admission,
Yep.
20 bucks, but it's really to stand in the back. Now, if you get the silver level, you can move up for 38 bucks and get an assigned seat at a table on the dance floor. It's kind of reminds me of COVID days when they had
Yeah.
those tables set up. So this is a Lita Ford show with Steelheart, where you're sitting at a table, looking and watching the band, and then in the back, it's people standing first come first serve in a standing gallery area for general admission. I don't know if that's going to be my scene or not. That's the end of February. I would like to see Lita Ford, but I I may I don't know. I don't know. Wait till next time. But I guess it's
Yeah.
all comes down to I'm not getting too close to her. Maybe
I
that's
like Lita, but for 20 bucks, I don't want to be back by the popcorn machine. I want to be closer.
yeah, yeah. And
And,
so
and I love her, but she's not $50 worth to be up close either. So
it's an interesting thing. Now, this might be up someone else's alley. We're not
yep.
passing any judgment, but that's the way they've got it set up for Medina. The other thing coming, Dokken and Bullet Boys. Now, Andy, you were interested in this
I,
show.
I
Any word, or are you going to pass
the,
it up?
the dollars are kind of scaring me away. I got some other concerts I kind of want to spend my concert dollar on. Although I know this is
Yeah,
probably gonna be Don Dokken's last run, but I'm hoping he's got one more year next year and I can catch it then.
yeah. Still would be a good show. That's coming up. We got two more slides here. Pop Rocks at the
All right.
Shakopee Bowl. Now, this is tomorrow. This is
This is
Friday night.
damn near sold out too.
Yeah, and now this is one that they will say will draw 300 plus
Yep.
people. I mean, the popular shows that everyone can dance to and sing along to. $10 at the door gets you in. They clear out the bar ahead of time. No one else can stay unless you're there to watch the show. So this should be popular. This is not my style of music. You mentioned before that you'd like to see perhaps some of the
Yeah. For the
some
10
of the
bucks, I think
guests.
I'd get my 10 bucks entertainment out of it. But
$10 for sure. Yeah. So this is
yeah,
tomorrow night. This is their the Groundhog Day special at the Shakopee Bowl. Wow. And finally, March 1st, a month from today, also at the Shakopee Bowl. This is another band, Sugar Buzz, that's
yep.
coming. $10 cover at the door. Once again, this is another popular songs. You're going to understand. You're going to know. They're going to be songs that everyone is going to know, done by this group. Well, we've interviewed the lead singer,
Yep.
Beth,
Beth.
before on other interviews. Very good, and we like to promote and pump their stuff. But Sugar Buzz is also very good. They'll bring that in. This will be another one that you're going to get roughly 300 people at these shows.
Yeah.
Very good.
Get there early for those.
Get there early. Get a great menu. Great menu there. Besides, it's not just pizzas, but the pizzas, burgers, appetizers, charcuterie
Hams,
bowl,
beers.
very good food, and the hams 2-for-1 specials.
Right. That's right.
We can't forget
No,
either. But
no.
great location there. That's all I've got for music. Anything else that you can think of?
Not too much musically. Just a lot of the other bands, like I said, Medina, The Mole out in Shakopee. Those are the places to go right now. Even though the weather outside here in Minnesota says you can go out on the patio and listen to a band, don't be surprised if you see one pop up in the next couple weeks. Someone going, "Hey, we're doing it. We're putting someone on the patio tonight." So don't be surprised if you don't see someone, not a big name band, but someone will go, "Hey, we'll play outside if you're willing to have us."
And you look out at the weather forecast, 10 days, and if there's nothing coming and you're getting highs in the 50s, that's people are doing it. I mean, patios have been open. There's golf courses that are open. I mean, literally right now. It's so odd, and that's February 1st. Now, the last thing I want to say, and Andy, you're going to love this. What I heard the most at that Mad Alice show from people talking about, and I talked about how good they were, and I was talking to folks about how good these musicians are. They said, you've got to see 10,000 Days. The Tool.
Yes.
I've heard that twice the other night. It's a lot of the same members of Mad Alice, but everyone said Tool, 10,000 Days tribute, knock your socks off. So that's keep moving up my list, and you too, Andy. I think we got to get there sometime and see these guys perform.
I'm more of a Tool guy than I am Alice in Chains, so that's why that one intrigues me a little more.
Yeah, and I'm lesser of a Tool, but from what I'm hearing and the guys on the stage, I can only imagine what it's like. And they said it'll blow your socks off. It's unbelievable. And I thought this Mad Alice just rocked, but this 10,000 Days, it's called. It's a tribute to Tool. I've never heard anything bad about these guys.
Nice.
We'll add it to the list. That's all I've got for this week.
That's it.
Have a good week, everyone.
See ya.
See ya.